right, let's talk about the weather right now. A little cold, a little windy across the area. Let's bring in Tony this noon to talk about that snow, which is on the horizon as well.
That too, lots to talk about. Between now and then, Chris, we're going to be okay. But between now and then, we're also dealing with some big cold. And January not letting us off the hook easy. We are way into the freezer today. Not so much by the temperatures, because, yeah, these numbers are in the 20s, but it's the wind that is feisty. And as we check in with the weather watchers reporting some of these numbers too, yeah, 29 feels a lot colder in Brooklyn. And she says, Elena, as we check in with her, she says, way too cold to take the doggies out for a long walk. It is out and back today. You don't want to be out there any longer than you have to, and you hope the pups hurry too. And of course, they're layered up in the cozy sweaters as well. It's a good-looking day. The problem is just the wind. Here's the situation in the city. Mostly clear, 29. What's our normal low this time of the year? 29. We're not getting too far higher from these numbers. West-northwest wind is doing its thing, and 30 miles per hour has this camera dancing in the breeze. It is bitterly cold. Cold air has basically re-emerge into the scene here after that system has gone by, and this is how we'll spend the next few days. Very little change in the temperatures. The winds are going to be a problem. We're looking at sub-freezing highs and at times wind chills that are sub-zero. And yeah, to go along with that, how about a big old low across the Canadian Maritimes that's just going to hang out there and continue to really fan the air when it's already so bone-chillingly cold. So you get the idea. Here's what we're contending with today: 35 to 45 mile an hour. And that is making the difference, whereas these temperatures in the upper 20s, near 30, sub-freezing everywhere. Feels a whole heck of a lot colder as we're talking about into the teens. The wind chills, how about tonight? Out the door tomorrow morning, single digits again. Some parts of the area up across, say, Monticello. For you, you're waking up in the minus category. So the story is weather is quiet, right? So all the way through Friday, we're not really worried about any active weather. When does that change? Over the weekend, and that's when we think the weather could get a little bit more interesting. So what we're watching is that we were talking about earlier is an area low pressure that'll develop across parts of the south and work its way towards the East Coast. And what does this mean for us? Well, the cold air is already in place. So now when we tack on a storm system that's going to have a lot of energy and a lot of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, that's when the plot thickens for us. Still a range of possibilities with it, so that's why we're not really ready to say this is going to be a major snowstorm like it was looking a couple of days ago. In fact, the numbers have backed down. The real issue for us that we'll have to kind of fine-tune is exactly where the storm goes and how strong does it become. The GFS model shows the storm that's closer to our coast and is a little bit stronger. Right now, the Euro takes it a little further to the south and keeps it a little weaker. What does that translate to? Well, both models are showing some snow. The GFS a little bit higher in totals. So that's kind of what we'll have to watch at this point, is to see if the trend holds and when we can finally get some agreement. So stay tuned for that. I think we'll start to get a little bit better consensus in the coming days. So cold and windy, the story today. 30s feel like teens all day. You'll bundle up all the way through tonight too. It's a blustery finish. And then waking up on a Wednesday, numbers single digits and teens. The wind chills tomorrow back into the 20s. So your first alert 7-day forecast goes like this: 40 the normal high. We don't get there. The best we could do this week, 36. And Saturday is really the only bump of the road as we track. This is going to be a fast moving system, so the impacts with it should not be too significant in terms of a long duration event, but it's a weekend day, and there could be some impacts. Stay tuned as we continue to have updates on that. And of course, Lonnie will have much more today, too, at 5. Chris?
Okay. Tony, thank you very much.